So my name is Craven. I'm from Greenville, North Carolina, and I just wanted to share a story about how food insecurity became real for me in working with my patients. So about 2 years ago, now almost 3 years ago, I met with a patient in my regular counseling time in our family medicine center, and she was pregnant and she had two small children in tow with her. And she came to me because she was not gaining enough weight in her pregnancy, and I shared with her the very best that a dietitian had to share about all the things that she should be eating and how, and she was very polite, and she said, yes, I agree with you, that's great. And so at the end of my session, like I always do, I said, so how likely are you to maybe make these changes that we talked about? And she said, probably a 1. And out of 10, that was pretty low. And I thought, man, this lady, I gave her the best I had to give, and now she's telling me she's not going to do anything that I said. And she was feeding her family chips and Kool-Aid and cookies, and their entire diet looked like that. And so I kind of figured at that point my session was over and she had to leave, and I thought, she's never coming back, because she really wasn't going to do what I had to say. And I shared with my very best that I had to say, but she came back in 2 weeks. And this time I just thought, there's a reason that she came back. So I just began to listen to her story a little bit and to hear why she was feeding her children these things. But I started with the usual questions. Do you have WIC? Do you have food stamps? And she did. She had WIC and she had food stamps. And she said, and sometimes I don't even spend my WIC voucher by the end of the month. And then I'm starting to get a little haughty and thinking, well, if you don't have a problem enough that you're not going to spend your WIC voucher, then, what can I do for you? But I decided to listen. And she began to share that the reason that she purchases the foods that she chose were because they're light. Chips are light. Kool-Aid is light. She didn't buy soda because she had to walk to the grocery store, and her 2 small children had to help her carry the groceries back. So she didn't choose soda, and she didn't choose cans of food because they were heavy and they couldn't get them back to their house. And so I began to realize that things were very different. And so I asked the question about why she didn't use her WIC vouchers. And she saved her WIC vouchers to pay people to take her to the grocery store whenever she could. And some of her family would take her to the grocery store if she paid them with a WIC voucher. And so I began to realize that this food insecurity thing was totally different than what I knew, and that people want to do better for their families, but they need a way. And so that was the beginning of my food insecurity work in Greenville, North Carolina. We now have a medical food pantry, so patients like her can take home a bag of food, and we can connect them to resources that can help them get to the grocery store if they need to do that. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my journey.